See, I didn't go for it. I didn't go for it that time, so obviously I nail it. Soar Gaming have the first pick and the first ban this time around. Obey Alliance are looking at number 2.
And right now, Soar Gaming, best case scenario, they really want that split, especially. Obey, however, I mean, they've already gotten a clean 2-0 before. They just want another one. Boost their points as far as possible, as early as possible, because, I mean, the sooner you get your lead, the more comfortable you're feeling as the season progresses.
Yeah, I mean, you get the bonus. Listen, if you get a split, everybody gets a point, but when you get those two, when you get the 2 wins, and you get the bonus point, you get 3 points for the set instead of just 2, so that's obviously what the teams are looking for. Cardenos and Osiris are going to be banned out, but the Soul ban, Delta Marine,
I like it.
We mentioned it before. Delta Marine has always loved this god.
I love the Soul ban, particularly because, I don't know if you noticed, but it was Delta Marine who was like at the top.
Yeah.
He was number 1 last I checked for player damage in that game. I believe he finished at first, but if not, he was definitely top 3 when it came to player damage, and that is incredible because not only was he shredding objectives, but he was just absolutely decimating Soar.
Soul, the Stellar Burst winds up being like a nade. You can just sort of sit on the outside and chuck the Stellar Burst, and boom, everybody gets slowed and damaged, and you go, all right, I'm going to do that again in like 5 seconds. And you just sit on the outside doing that the whole time. You heal yourself up if you do get hit, and then just anybody that comes close, basics. And Soul can be very problematic when piloted correctly, and Delta Marine absolutely doing that. Robin and Bologna, the choices for the right side of the map from Obey.
And it will be locked in. Robin Bologna, that's already a pretty scary frontline possibility. There is the option for Soar to potentially elect to go Nemesis to try and deal with such a heavy frontline already from Obey, but I'm not certain as to whether that's a god pick that Kaden feels 100% comfortable on.
It better be. It better be. I mean, Nemesis, you gotta have a Nemesis these days. She counters so many of the standard picks that are popular right now, and she's Sunder as well. I don't know, I think she's really powerful.
And it's going to be the Somukong and Geb locked in instead for Soar. They want to give a little bit more time before going into their jungle pick, and I think that's still a pretty safe selection. They have a fairly tanky composition themselves now with the Somukong and the Geb. Plus, that is the front line and peel that you would want for a Zeus.
Exactly. Yeah, Geb,
100%.
Yeah, Geb's going to keep Zeus alive. Kronos one more time. Look at that.
Whether or not it's going into the mid lane or dual lane, though, is still on the table. I would anticipate it to probably be going the way of Mancer. I think that Delta Marine would probably prefer to just play a mage that he can have a little bit more burst potential on in that mid lane, something that can, you know, also shred the Zeus and be a little bit more aggressive. Possible. They take away the Hawa actually from Sora. I think that's a very smart selection because Hawa is definitely a guy that can punish a Zeus.
Yeah, he can punish the Zeus. Oh, the Khepri ban as well. I really like the Khepri ban. Now, normally I don't mind playing Zeus into Khepri because multiple people get hit by the ultimate damage, and then when you detonate, you can only Khepri ult one of those guys. So I don't mind playing the Zeus into the Khepri, but it's just making that Kronos even more susceptible to getting smoked out by whoever Soar winds up finishing their draft with. With the Vulcan, I think we're going to see Kronos on on Mancer a second time, like you mentioned. And Mercury might be picked here. Ooh.
The Mercury hover, whether or not that gets locked in, that'll be a fairly spicy pick. Even though Mercury is pretty viable, depending on your composition, it's still got its own flavor to it because you have to be on point in your positioning, and we know that Kaden's got a pretty hot Merc.
I love the Mercury against Kronos because you're trying to kill him before the rewind comes off. Merc can do that. He's going to hit you in about 2 shots, and you wind up falling to the wayside. The Scotty, however, I don't know. Scotty had her time in the sun. Is she still here?
Scotty's 100% still viable, but what I'm looking towards is that Odin pick because Odin could completely crush Soar if he's able to get off some good cages, and that's a pretty spooky sight when you've got a team with literally no escapes, and it will be the Odin selection for Obey Alliance. Odin, Bologna, Ravin, that is some rough stuff.
Odin, Bologna, Ravin, no Nemesis across the way. We're going to see a ton of Sunder. Let's go! Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm going to have a terrible night. I'm so angry about that.
Oh, man. Beep who's got the Phantom, actually. It's Kaden. Kaden's got the Phantom. That is definitely not something you'd expect every day.
That is
fear.
They shook. As soon as they feel like the team, yeah, man.
Because it's Mifflin.
I'm feeling good. Okay, awesome. Odin gets locked. Oh. I feel like they just sort of forgot that Odin, everybody thinks of Odin as the anti-heal, but he's also, I mean, anti-no jump, right? Nobody on this team can really get out of the ring effectively outside of Stormy, and he has to use the ult for that. It's really rough.
Well, you can get away with an Odin selection here as well because of the fact that Delta Marine and Mancer are rocking the double mage. When you have two mages, you can definitely afford to go with the 3 Fizz-heavy frontliners, and picking 3 warriors as opposed to just one hardcore guardian like a Geb selection, I think it's bound to work out if they execute their draft properly.
It's so interesting because this is the Sunder meta. Everybody's talking about Sunder, but I mean, they go ahead and they pick 3 tanks anyway. And they just know fear, and Soar doesn't fight fire with fire. They don't go ahead and find the level 1 Sunders. Likely level 12, we're going to see the Sunders come out, but still, it's going to be a tough early game for Soar to deal with the tankiness on Obey.
And I mean, I didn't really get a chance to elaborate on it, but you asked me how I felt about Scotty.
Yeah.
I actually think that Scotty is a smart selection into the Chronos, and I think that she's also a smart selection for dealing with objective team fights, because you can disorient and cause so much chaos with that ice. Her permafrost is still a pretty massive nuisance, and right now, it looks as though Delta Marine's in a little bit of trouble. He's got the dog on him. Mifflin, though, cleaning up Keegsmate for the first blood. That's 100% in Obey's favor.
Yeah, Zaxi finds the follow-up kill, thankfully, but Obey get the 500 bounty for the first blood. You see that damage? He just jumped on the Zeus, and homie went from 100 to 50% HP. Really tough for Zeus to deal with the bird bomb at this level.
And Kaden, he's wanting to fight. I think Mifflin could tell, though, that somebody was probably coming to back him up, and that was 100% the case. Medieval's already on his way back to the lane, but more importantly, Mifflin getting first blood on Odin is probably best case scenario for him.
Oh yeah, I mean, sure. Both the character needs first blood, the player needs first blood. I can hear Mifflin saying, "Let's go!" from here. I mean, this guy is, you want to talk about players that run on adrenaline and players that are momentum-based? Mifflin is the definition of that guy.
All the way, and I think I'm mostly concerned for Keegs on the Zeus, because it's pretty hard for a Zeus to juke out a bird bomb.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to get controlled. There's a nice little root coming out from PB and Jelly. There's the activation of the Aegis, and the backfire is ready. Not going to be the case. The ultimate will be Delta Marine gets the layup. 2 kills in total for Obey Alliance. Delta Marine putting that one on the board. 1 for the mid lane mage.
Jelly with this Robin, and I think another thing that I really love about what Obey is doing right now is he's not really playing your standard support god. I mean, Jelly on a Robin, it's just such an aggressive factor, and that is one aspect. He's more of like a roam role right now. Off the mark with that root, though.
He's jungle too. I mean, we saw this earlier. The day where they put a warrior support and just winds up playing jungle too. Provide pressure. Right now, pressure can trump peel if played correctly. Now, it's more dangerous, but can absolutely do the work here. And this is the result. Obey Alliance are here with 3 players that can kill you by themselves. Now you put them together, ain't nobody gonna contest that blue buff. Nobody. No
one is going near a Bologna, Robin, Odin, except for
if you force them.
And that's the Phantom. That is the Phantom, and now 100%, or you can definitely tell why Mercury wanted that active so much.
Like you said, nobody's gonna fight them unless you're forced into it. That Phantom down 165, and that ring will be up way before that. So somebody's gonna get forced into a ring, and somebody's gonna get killed.
Jelly just having free reign of these elementals now, and that's the other aspect of this roaming warrior support, whatever you want to call it. It's that he just pretty much gets to look for the enemy jungle's farm. He's going to be a little bit off the mark for securing that speed buff, and luckily for Caden, he's able to drop that. But
Robin went Bluestone Pumbas. He didn't even go Watchers. He's just playing jungle too.
Yeah.
Just
no
playing
intentions.
jungle too. I love it. Our poor observer, though. I mean, there's no way you can figure out where any of these guys are going. And to be fair, there is no spot for jungle, too.
Now, it's the other side of the map. That's your jungle, too, especially when you're playing Robin. Permafrost going to get Zaxi out of that situation. And I'm a little... I think that if Mifflin had his ultimate available, he would have probably looked for the jump-in onto Zaxi there every single time. But without that up and running quite yet, he's just going to fall back and let Zaxi run away to his T2.
Yeah, so I mean, I think you'll feel the pain of not having a traditional support a little bit later in the game. But in this early game, what do you do?
It's if it
How do you
goes
deal with
to
this?
late game. That's what this is all about. This isn't a giraffe that you go late game with, and if it does, you just
You're
pray
still
that
Robin.
Vulcan and Kronos do something about it.
Sure.
That's basically all that it is. But right now, the only thing that Sor can do is be very careful with their positioning and even more careful with their engagements, because one step out of place and your entire team's getting not only locked into an Odin cage, but just shut down entirely. Like, you'll get burst. Warriors actually burst right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the bird bomb is the OG warrior burst, and now you have the root Prana Hands Sunder combo from the Ravens, right? And Jelly doing it right, picking up the Sunder. Jelly played jungle for this team once upon a time, so it's not too far out of his comfort. Oh, come on, man. Dwarfs he goes for the read, makes it incorrect. It happens. Zaxi gets hit a little bit by the Odin.
Goes left, they go right. That's how it always goes, though.
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna go left? I mean, there's always the classic no juke.
The best juke is the non-juke.
No, that is just a classic. I don't even understand why it works, but it does every single time almost.
Well, I mean, it was funny. I was having a conversation about a completely different game, and that came up. We were talking Street Fighter, and somebody was winning with some like noob strats, right? And when you're a new player, you juke left, right? And then when you're a mid player, you juke a certain way. When you're a new player, you don't juke at all. When you're an intermediate player, you're going to juke left or right, depending on... And then when you're a good player, you go back to just not juking, because they expect you to juke. That's why the non-juke is always the best juke.
It's never the best juke, but
It's always
probably
the best juke.
It's the worst juke in the world, but it's probably the most effective one. And
That's what it is. The top end has to play. You got to play the noob strat sometimes. We're literally watching two jungles right now, Taco.
there's nothing wrong with two junglers, though.
That's what I'm saying. It's working.
That's just twice the. I wish there was three, and there might as well be three jungles when you consider that it's a Bologna.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
basically your third jungler, because he's going to be invading that side of the map for Sor every single time anyway as well. So, I mean, he might as well just toss it in Boombas and call it a day.
I mean, one of the classic cartoon tropes, right? Well, that plan is so dumb it just might work, right? That's what we're looking, man. We're seeing three roamers. And poor Vulcan, I want to say poor Vulcan, but Delta Marine and Mance are like, we'll farm. Call us in 20 minutes. You guys go have fun. And then Jelly, Dwarst, and Mifflin are just painting the town red. They're out jumping on people, stealing buffs. It's 2-1, and Sor Gaming are down by about 500 gold. They just haven't been able to really control their jungle. This is the first play we're going to see immediately forcing the ultimate out of the Kronos, and he's still going to be in a lot of trouble here. Bang! Zaxi completely takes him out. I liked the Mercury, and you like the Scotty into the Kronos, and that's the combo.
I love the Scotty because you can save your ultimate for after you poke him out, and
Yeah.
that's all he did. He saved his ult for when the Kronos rewind was down. That's a free kill almost every single time.
Later on, the Merc will be able to kill the Kronos in the rewind. Now he's got to lean on the Scotty to go for it. But either way, PB and Jelly now going to make his way over to the left-hand side of the map and try to deal with this, but it's a 2-on-3, and Jelly, not as tanky as he's used to being. You don't have any tank items just yet, buddy. And he falls down quickly to Sor Gaming.
People severely underrate Scotty, but right now it's actually Kaden. He's still in a little bit of danger. Medieval's doing his best to try and peel for him, and it looks like it worked. He's out.
Yeah, he's gone. Then Odin, not really the chaser that some of the other characters are. So Kaden going to be able to get out of the cage.
And that's perfect for him because he'll have his Phantom available as well in a little under a minute now. So as long as he's careful with his positioning, I mean he'll be fine. He'll be able to get out whoever is with him
Yeah.
in that Odin ring the next time that Medieval or Mifflin tries to drop it.
Yeah, that's the key there. He's got to help out his teammates. Shouts to Keeks, mate, rocking the skin. I love it. Yeah, the Xbox skin. It's dope.
I can respect it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, repping his hometown.
What I what I really like though is I like Soar's patience. They know that they're losing this early game
They're
for the
supposed
most
to.
part,
They're supposed to.
and I love the patience behind them because if they can get the Geb Mercury factors online and force that late game, then that's beautiful because Obey is going to have an incredibly difficult time trying to do anything, especially against a Scotty. And that's what I didn't get to finish elaborating on that. It's just Scotty is pretty underrated right now. I feel as though she's severely underrated because with the right compositions, her permafrost is just, it is awful to deal with, and that ability can still deal a ton of damage. Speaking of damage,
Look at that.
Keeks suffering quite a lot himself, drops the Zeus ultimate, but it's not enough to get away from Delta Marine. Vulcan ultimate on point.
Nice shot coming out for the mage. Medieval just stuck. He's going nowhere. Dwarfs with the last hit, but the assist from the entirety of the team. Everybody just surrounded Geb.
Just completely swarmed.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Is that... Yeah, that smile on your face says enough. And from way downtown is Caden looking to try and catch Obey with the steal on the gold fury. He's still looking for, he got it!
Soar takes it! Oh, snap! He got it with the Major Look! He really made me look that time. He actually made me look. Oh, Caden. He might pay for it.
He's trying to get away so hard right now.
Oh, he's gonna be good!
Oh, no. Doesn't have that stone cutting sword just yet. Because I'm certain that he's building into the stone cutting sword.
Yeah, for sure.
And the movement speed just not enough to get him away from that bird bomb.
But he made me look.
I mean, that was beautiful. He stole the important factor, and now it could be Delta Marine, and it will be Delta Marine falling down to Stormy Rays, going pretty deep for that one into the Teep 1.
That's what you get for stealing the gold Fury. That's just Stormy being mad. Now, they'll get the consolation prize, the Portal Demon. Although here comes Bologna this time around.
No, that was Soar who stole it.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Obey trying to make the counter steal, not going to go down, and Soar able to collect their Portal Demon as well. I didn't realize that was, I mean, I realized, but I didn't realize that was Soar on the Portal Guide thing. Little Boss Man Jr.
Boss Man Jr. But I mean, I know that
Portal Demon our boss baby?
No, we're not calling Portal Demon Boss Baby
Oh,
ever.
we're calling him Boss Baby.
I'm upset you brought that up.
We're calling him Boss Baby. I bet you Tully's a fan.
Oh God, Tully's. I don't know. Seems a little grouchy today.
I'll give you that. But still, I bet you Tully likes Boss Baby.
We'll have to find out at a later time. But if there's one thing that I know, it's that Obey do not like the lead that they handed to Soar Gaming. That is just, you never want to lose a Gold Fury in that kind of scenario.
You really don't want to lose a Gold Fury. So what do you think the percentage? Do you think it's likely that Tully likes Boss Baby?
Why are we still on Boss Baby?
I'm losing it. Okay.
I distinctly tried to get away from that. This is my life now. I try to get away from a Boss Baby, and it just keeps coming back.
Pretty much. So it's going to be grouping up in the mid lane. What that Gold Fury is so important. If Obey picks up that Gold Fury, that means that their sort of three-man jungle force was successful. They're able to really start the game off here at 14 minutes because essentially Soar has to sit on their hands for the entirety of the early game with against that comp. There's nothing they can do. So the game starts at this point, right? If Obey get that Gold Fury, which is the ending of the early game, that means Obey can pretty much just say, all right, we won the early game. We have our 3,000 gold lead. Let's go. Soar Gaming knew to that complete plan by stealing that away. Shouts to Caden. And now the game begins at 14 minutes even, which is not what Obey wanted.
And he didn't even have the crit possibility on the Meiji Look. He just single-handedly stole that with timing. And
he just made us look.
he committed. Even after he whipped his ultimate, rather than opting to just try and juke away from it, that's just that circumstance where you'd rather see them just go for it, whether or not it costs them their life. You might as well go for it.
I say it all the time.
That I'm actually fine with, because it's not one of those circumstances where like his team can afford to have him die there or anything like that. It's just he literally had nothing to lose, because if Obey secure that, that's game, I think, personally, because their snowball just becomes way too strong of a factor.
Exactly. That's the key, is that when they put an end cap on the early game and coming into this mid game with that sort of lead, I mean, yeah, you're totally right. It falls down the mountain. I root for that, let's say 98% of the time. There are edge cases where no, you can't die here and that's wrong, but always one guy should just go for the steal. There's very rarely a bad point in that, especially at 10 minutes. You're sitting out for what, 20 seconds? We'll see you in a minute. We'll see you very soon. Like, not a big deal.
Stormy Rays now popping the Thorns, trying to get aggressive onto the worst, but recognizing Mifflin rotating over, he's going to be forced into his ultimate and just backing off entirely.
So one of the big things that you have to notice with this Robin selection, this Jungle 2, this Roamer coming out for PB and Jelly, is that he's not going in the direction of the auras early on. I think we'll see the auras come out a little bit later, but he has to go for that breastplate to give himself some natural tankiness and some actual, so he can actually do something with that CDR. So the team is not going to have that natural Thebes, Sovereignty, Heartward Amulet protections just yet this early on.
It's very greedy, actually. Yeah. Every member on Obey, there's no auras just right on the table, other than the Bologna, but Mystical Mail is not the aura item you're looking for when it comes to defensive.
Yeah, I mean, this is Jelly full committing to double jungle. I mean, this was not a support roaming. This is a full commit to a double jungle, which I don't hate by design. I actually like that Obey's trying to do something a little bit different. And we saw, I mean, it was not even a coin flip. They rolled a D20, and Kaden came up with the nat 20 for them to steal that Gold Fury. I see the strategy and I like it. It just, Kaden got lucky, man. Oh, this I don't like, though. They're going to give the Gold Fury to Soar. The second Gold Fury gets taken away by Soar Gaming. Not at all what Obey wanted. Now, that Gold Fury's a big deal. 3K in the lead. The ensuing team fight looks like it's also going Soar's way. Zeus made it rain. Kaden, Zaxi cleaned it up. There's a kill for Mancer. Obey answers back, but I think it's too little too late.
And Mancer now, he's trying to get away with the last bit of his health, but the dog!
The dog!
Every time,
woof,
man!
Woof, woof, got him, woof! Give that dog a treat!
You just can't run away from Scotty.
No, you gotta scratch him behind his ears.
Oh, God, I hate that dog.
I love that dog! Look at him! He's wagging his tail, and now he's gonna eat up Dwarfs. Help coming out from Stormy Rays. Dwarfs about 25% HP. Doggo has to retreat, though. Zaxi looking for something in the mid lane, and will help take down the structure. That's a good dog.
And that was not a good fight for Obey at all.
No.
The Phantom was also available for, like, Soar were, not only were they able to pop the Phantom underneath that Gold Fury, but they were just unable to find any sort of counter initiation. The Vulcan Ultimate, I don't believe the Vulcan Ultimate came through for the possible steal because Soar kept resetting.
That was the thing.
They just kept resetting that Gold Fury. So I don't blame Delta Marine in the slightest for that one. Now they're trying to engage onto this Portal Demon, but Odin Ring going to be taken down.
The Odin Ring breaks, gets broken by the objective, and now Kaden is going to fall. Nice play by Obey, even though they don't get their cage. They were able to take down Kaden. Now trouble for the monkey as well. Stormy is able to turn things around as Zaxi shows up and the dog goes back to work. Looking for Mifflin. One bite. The second bite not enough. And I think the dog has to come back. Mifflin's going to be able to save himself thanks to the Raven Shield. But Obey Alliance just not at the dominant point they were earlier in this match.
And the Bologna looking to try and disorient Zaxi, push him away from his team. Mancer, though, forced into his ultimate. That was a great Zeus drop by Keegs and a great rewind by Mancer, but now he's going to have to be very careful. I think that this is going to be Source.
Oh, there's the shot from Vulcan, and it will be good. Obey Alliance snatch away the objective. Delta Marine might be snatched away himself by the solo laner. The time rift's going to be off the money, and Mancer still trying to find the fight. Zaxi exiting down south. Meanwhile, PB and Jelly takes out Medieval. Kingmate's in trouble. Jumped on and squashed Dwarfs with the kill, but the big damage coming out of Odin.
But with 2 members dead and for quite a long time, and Portal D been recently secured for Obey, they're going to look for this Fire Giant, I think.
Absolutely.
Mifflin's pulling it. They want this FG, and Dwarfs is just lone man zoning it out. Mancer in the mid lane, however, if they find the kill on a Stormy Rays, I think that Obey commit to that FG 100%. And it's actually going to be another 2 kills dropped. That is so perfect for Obey. That Fire Giant, it doesn't stand a chance against the Vulcan and Kronos.
Yeah, I mean, Zaxi was able to pull some crazy plays out before, but not going to be the case this time around. And I like this is really impressive coming out from Obey. They stuck to their strategy. I think it'd be really easy, as Dwarst is going to give his life for the Fire Giant. Fire Giant falls down right about now, and 4 players with it. Dwarst doesn't have it. I'm not too concerned. They stuck to their strat. So they have the double jungle in the beginning of the game, right? And then that mid game comes after that Gold Fury. It'd be real easy to just go, guys, it didn't work. I'm going to buy a Sovereignty now, right? And just kind of fall and fold, essentially. But instead, he's building into some more damage. He's going to stick to this double jungle mentality. And it took a dip in that mid game when Soar kind of exploited the fact. But Obey, the extra damage won them that team fight.
And I think it will be a little bit more difficult, though. I feel as though even with Soar having lost that FG to Obey, they probably still have a little bit of a fight that they can present underneath those T2 towers. I mean, they're going to have the damage from the T2s coming through. And without auras available for Obey, I feel as though Soar could still shift a team fight into their favor. Although it will be incredibly difficult just simply because it is an FG amped up team.
I would have liked to see after this sword coming out from Odin, you see how he's building into what's likely a spirit robe. I would have liked to see that actually be an aura item. Just spreading it around. Odin's going to be the one pushing forward mainly, looking for the cages. I'm not saying you got a full commit to a Guardian 3 aura set, but go pick up a Thieves, man. You know, like get one of these items so your team has a little bit of protection.
All 3 of them, I think, could have potentially spread it out. One with a Heart Ward, one with a Sovereignty, and then one with a Thieves.
Yeah, I think that is my ideal scenario, but I like this strategy. I think it's fun. Nice seeing something different. 22 on the clock. Obey Alliance with 11 kills to 9. Did you guys hear that thunder?
That was pretty scary.
Yeah,
Just like this team fight is about to be. Mifflin going in onto Stormy Rays, having to expend his ultimate defensively, but they're pushing back Obey Alliance.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Soar want to do. They don't want to give this beefed up warrior team any opportunities to push into their T2s.
The sustain that the Fire Giants bring in is going to be a really big deal. That's very important to allow Obey to continue pushing on forward. Team separated by literally 0 gold. The difference is just the Fire Giant. Here comes Caden, and that's what I was talking about. Special delivery puts you in a worse spot than it is a good thing. Girdle is popped, but it don't matter. Jelly, the support, is chasing him down and getting the kill. Jelly looks like he traded his life there, though, Taco.
100% traded his life, but it could be Medieval with the same story. Mifflin with the easy cleanup.
So, support for support? I can't call him a support.
Support for warrior,
yeah,
number 2.
He's just jungle 2, man. But here comes Zaxi, chowing and chopping on Dwarst. Nice ultimate from the mid lane mage, but Kings with a perfect Aegis keeps him alive. There's the stop. Mifflin with another kill. The Goomba machine is on point. Zaxi gets another one. 8, 0, and 4 for the Scotty.
These guys are just running each other down, but if I'm Soar, I am 100% happy with how that engagement just went all the way, because now not only did they win the team fight, they still kept all their T2s. Only 2 towers fell.
How many dinners is Soar going to buy Zaxi? I mean, that's another dinner. That's
a lot of chicken nuggets.
It's so many. I mean, he's the next Wendy's dude, right? I mean, this guy is sitting here 8-0 and 4, 12,000, 12-4 when it comes to farm. Nobody in his team's even close. Zaxi alone is making these team fights work out for Soar. If Zaxi's like bot Zaxi, this Soar lose 10 minutes ago. But Zaxi is single-handedly showing up. It's the Scotty pick, man.
No, Scotty is still an excellent choice.
You
can't
nailed
go,
it.
like, especially when you have a comp that's so easily able to frontline for you. I mean, it's not the Robin Bologna Odin kind of warrior support that you're expecting.
Right.
But having a Sun Wukong and a Geb, it's really just the Geb for me. Geb protects any carry that you want so excellently. And sure, Medieval might be dying and finding himself falling to just, I mean, essentially the rest of Obey. There's not much Geb can do.
Perfectly respectable.
As long as he throws out those shields for Zaxi, then it's good looks all around.
Yeah, I wish there was some sort of stat that we could see, like, damage mitigated by way of Geb shield.
He's top damage. It's Scotty, but
Yeah.
Scotty,
I thought you meant Geb, and I was like, wait, what?
no.
I was
No.
like, wait, what?
Scotty is comfortably sitting at that top damage, and it is seriously because of the fact that that permafrost disorients you,
Oh, yeah.
and it still does so much damage. It's like he's got the Titans and the Jones. He's dealing like close to 1k damage on that permafrost, and people might be like, oh, you're exaggerating. No, go into jungle practice and try out permafrost with the pen build and Transcendence. You will deal 1k damage. It's silly.
And there's proof in the pudding. PB and Jelly gets smoked out. He's sitting out for 35 plus. There's going to be damage here as continuing as Dwarves gets picked up. He's going to have to jump away to safety. Nice Thorns play. But Stormy Ray's going to still be alive. Ultimate out of the Vulcan. Zaxi, see you later. Huge kill for Delta Marine 72. If that's anybody else, Zaxi continues to do what he does. But since it's Zaxi, Portal Demon's going to go the way of Obey Alliance. Well, not if Mifflin does that. Not if Mifflin does that.
I mean, Mifflin tried.
Sure, he tried something.
Sometimes it doesn't seem like the right choice, but you gotta go in, and I don't think he was expecting that many people.
Gotta go in. One of the oldest sayings in Smite. Oh man, I was watching videos of Zapman and Allied from 2012, and they're like, gotta go in. Just gotta go in, man. Gotta go in.
You can't stop going forward sometimes.
Yeah, Zapman dies 1v4, and I was like, no, man, gotta go in. I get it, right?
Mifflin's joystick temporarily disabled. That's what I'm gonna label it as. And respect for the commitment, but that commitment did prevent Obey from having the secure onto the Portal Demon, unfortunately for them. And I would say Obey, for the time being almost 27 minutes, they've done an excellent job at remaining in this game despite the objective control from Sora on those Gold Furies.
I mean, it's Zaxi on the side of Sora Gaming, and on the side of Obey, it's just this three-man warrior amalgamate. They're like Megazording around, right? That's why when we see PB and Jelly dive by himself, it all goes bad, right? When we see, what's his name? When we see Mifflin jump in, it all goes bad, right? But you let them come together, and here it is. All of a sudden, okay, PB and Jelly's actually getting chased down. But my point remains, this team needs to stay grouped up if they really want to make an impact.
They have to stay grouped up, but the same case might not be for Sword Gaming, as an excellent Cataclysm from Medieval is going to get his jungler out of danger.
And Zaxi playing it safe. Doesn't want to go too deep. Wants to make sure that he's staying alive, because as I said, Zaxi at this point seems to be the win con. I mean, you've got Keegsmane here, that's Zeus, and he's doing moderate damage right in the middle of the player damage, but Zaxi, I mean, this is the win condition for Sora Gaming. It's just Zaxi, man. Everybody's just getting in the Zac pack.
That was a pretty good one. But you know what I just thought about when you were talking about them being that Megazord? It's kind of like that moment in Power Rangers where they all like fuse together.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it feels like Obey is trying to do with this triple warrior composition. And you can see now the sovereignty has come online for Jelly. A little bit of that support item, and that is excellent because he's trying to deal with that Mercury and Scotty.
This is the fix. If this is so, I like the massive unit, right? If we see those items switched, I am in love with it. I would have just liked to see the Sov come on a little bit earlier. Now that it's here, let's watch how the team fight unfolds with a little bit more physical protection for everybody else involved. The Mercury takes off and looks for Vulcan up top. He's going to be in trouble up there, but the rest of the team tries to peel and sends Kaden packing. Delta Marine still in trouble. Stormy Rays gets hit by the martyrdom from Delta Marine. The last shot from the Kronos gets Gem shielded out. It gets Gem shielded out. Medieval makes the play of a game. Fantastic save by Medieval, and he's not done yet. He blinks forward, gets the Kata. Zaxi takes out Jelly.
And now it's going to be Mancer 1v3 here, trying to run away from the rest of Sora. 1v4, actually. They're all running after him. He is not going to get out of this zone. I don't see him surviving.
No, they're pinging. He's gone. It's going Zac to Zac. Kaden gets the kill, but Zaxi just making it happen. At the end of the day, though, we've been talking about him all game and silently every now and then going, hey, shout-outs to Medieval, but that's the support life. That play, oh my goodness.
The babysitter.
Oof. Oh, hey, it's Mifflin.
Oh, hey, it's Mifflin with an ultimate, and he's also got Dwurs to back him up. I love this play, though, by Medieval. Again, he just looks so good there.
Oh, man, Medieval just as soon as we're ready to give him props, he does something that makes us talk about him again. Just great knock up there, and oh, wow. Just a fantastic set from, honestly, this has been the game where everybody on Sword just wants a highlight play in this game. Nice little wraparound coming out from the Mercury player, but Delta Marine, he's gonna get chased down by Kaden, and he'll have to walk away. Who is PS the Mercury player? Over the top comes Stormy, looking for not even the speed buff, just kind of looking to annoy everybody.
Obey's trying to keep Sor off of this fire giant. That's some wild thunder.
Nobody can hear it. We just sound crazy.
I know, but that's actually concerning. But they're trying to keep Sor off of this fire giant, and I think that for Obey, that was still probably a best case scenario. Yeah. I'm a little bit surprised that nobody died on the side of Obey there, but I think it's mostly just because Sor were in between whether they wanted to commit to FG or commit to the kill and chase down potential.
It's because Zaxi was a base.
Yeah, it's just that brief hesitation might have cost them a kill or two, but I think in the long run, they're still A-okay.
If Zaxi was there, he dies.
Well, they had the Scotty ultimate.
Yeah.
But he popped it. He was trying to make something happen, but it was just a little bit too much swiftness on the side of Obey, able to get out of that situation.
Oh well.
It's back to the same old fire giant dance now, though.
Yeah, and then now we gotta look at these two teams just dance around the fire giant. Ugh.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more split push Chronos.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely one of the big deals when it comes to Mancer. But the fire giant gonna be started. It's going to be Kaden leading the charge here. Mifflin going to look for the control and the peel. And the Scotty ultimate comes out. The dog able to walk right on through the spears. And now it's Kaden, thanks to the Phantom, that's walking through the spears, chasing the guys from Obey Alliance away. And Zaxi going right back to the original argument, looking for the objective while Dwarf gets controlled by the solo and the jungle.
And it's Keeg, Zaxi, and Medieval trying to secure this
Miff
fire giant.
Miff is here. Fire giant is going to be taken by Sor anyway. And now Obey will get obliterated. Once again, jumping the Zac pack. 11-1-5 for Zaxi. What an incredible game for Scotty.
And Mifflin just panic blinked away.
Yeah.
He was so concerned that they were still going to be chasing him that he just used his blink. The ultimate from the Vulcan was on point, but so was the Aegis from Zaxi. And now without that, that's pretty much the ultimate Titan defense, Phoenix defense kind of ability for Obey Alliance is the Vulcan ultimate. And now without that being a factor, I don't see Obey being able to hold on to their towers for much longer. Or Phoenix is much less towers, honestly. So
I mean, they do have the Odin ring, which very, very short cooldown. Odin just used it, of course, but it will be up very, very soon. He has 20% CDR, well, 30%. He's got the Discord and the breastplate, right? So he's going to be able to stack that.
But they don't have the blinking gauge.
No, they don't have the blinking gauge, but it's more about sitting back on the Phoenixes, right? You really want to use the geometry of the Phoenixes and the walls. You drop a ring, ain't nobody allowed here, right? It's less about when you're defending with a character like Sylvanas or Geb, you want to bring the fight to them. When you're playing the Odin, can't you sort of play on your back foot and just kind of, hey, you're stuck in here with us?
To a certain extent. Right now, for Sora, they don't really have to push too far into Obey.
That's fair.
They can be tanky enough just throwing Stormy out there and having him decoy the Phoenix, or even Medieval right now could tank up almost anything with his... I mean, he's got the auras, he's got the health, and he's got a Geb shield to boot.
Ooh, Kaden missed the special delivery, and he's going to get stuck in the ring. Doesn't have the Phantom, but nobody's really pushing him around either, so we'll just kind of hang out here for the moment.
And that was really just to keep the rest of Sora from running him down right there. That little split between Stormy Rays and the rest of Sword Gaming meant that they just weren't really looking to engage and risk getting anybody picked.
Well, 18 to 15 here with 34 on the clock. Obey Alliance and Soar Gaming, it's all tied up, but the Fire Giant is on the side of Soar. This has been a fun game to watch, honestly. We have a really oddball strategy with Obey coming out without a support, just trying to bring the early game pressure, which they brought. Mifflin has to jump away from different kind of pressure, and here comes help from the side from that PB and Jelly secondary jungler. Mancer tries to push forward and deal some damage on the Storm, but he's forced to rewind himself, and there comes Soar from the front end and the back end, but trouble for Kingsbait. Nobody is there to peel. It's Medieval here, but everything's on cooldown. The shot at a Vulcan is just not a factor.
But Zaxi! They need Zaxi, and the Frostbound is actually going to be enough to pick him off. They still have a Mercury, which is still very strong for sieging, but without that Phoenix being available and trying to fight into the fire creeps, that is just so incredibly difficult.
Obey did a great job, and it was honestly Mifflin being out of position that won that sequence for them. Mifflin just walked into the wrong spot right here, and this back and forth, Caden is going to have to walk away, but the rest of his team is here now, and that's the end of PB and Jelly, and just like that, Soar snatch control one more time.
Man, this has been so back and forth for these engagements, and Soar, you can tell, they want to keep pushing forward. Zaxi that time, though, it just a little bit caught off guard.
Yeah.
Kind of expected the rest of his team to be following right behind him, but they turned around to help out Keegs, and that is really the biggest changing factor in that team fight.
Exactly. I mean, Mifflin walks and steps out of position, and that sends Soar in two different directions. And we discussed how important it is for Obey Alliance to stay grouped up, and that's because of the way they work. They have to put all their damage together, etc. When it comes to Soar Gaming, you know, they can't blink around either. They have to stay together because they have to protect their Scotty and their Zeus. Without that, I mean, everything just winds up flashing off the screen.
And it's so unfortunate for the side of Soar Gaming because they want to be able to close this one out, but they're just unable to really lock it down entirely.
I think that had something to do with the Thunder. I think the Thunder is just shaking everything, and right now Mifflin wants to shake it up by trapping Zaxi and Caden out of the fight. Love that zone. That gives Obey Alliance the Portal Demon just like that. Girdle is popped, but who are you fighting?
They're trying to fight somebody. It looks like Dwarves is going to be the next course of action, but he's able to dash away and avoid the dash from Caden.
Yeah, there's trouble as Dwarves pops to Thorns, and Obey, they get away with it. Mifflin pops the ring to prevent anybody from really coming into the team fight. Caden was sitting there with his ult primed up like, let me through. Guys, I'm right here. Guys, I'm here, I swear. And then the Portal Demon's already gone. They pop the girdle, they want to fight, they just can't. Ooh.
Oh, well, there's Mifflin's ultimate yet again, zoning out Soar Gaming from the startup of that FG.
I mean, he's got the full CDR, so he's able to bring up the ring pretty much whenever he wants. And this one, I don't even know why.
But they get free backs.
Yeah, they can back. So that's what we're gonna see.
They get free backs anytime they want. Well, not anymore with that Portal Demon going down, but beforehand, Obey, that was pretty much in their favor. They had the Portal Demon to come back into the fight with, and now Soar, they're just kind of waiting it out. They want to find the right engagement, probably when Medieval's actives are back up. They want to wait for that Girdle to be available, as well as the Blink for the Cataclysm and just peel in general. But Caden having to expend the Phantom already. He's trying to pop his ultimate, getting CC'd out, and it's good. Mancer's got the damage to lock him down.
Caden just walking in the wrong spot. Stormy might suffer the same consequence, but a great ultimate from the mid lane mage. Medieval gets credit for the kill with the knockup. All of the damage coming from Z-Man Sr. Mancer, however, gets the answer back. There's going to be the third kill for the Chronos, and the ultimate out of Vulcan is enough to push Soar off of the tower. Obey Alliance, This was not the plan. This was not the plan at all. But when you see the opportunity, you seize it and you run for it. Mid lane Phoenix, half HP already, Taco.
And they can't afford to back for Sora to regain their health. Mancer looking directly at Zaxi now. Medieval's shield's already been expended on him, and the mid Phoenix completely vulnerable to Delta Marine. He's just backlining it, chunking away at that health.
That like, oh man, Obey Alliance, they were like, all right, we're gonna group up, we're gonna take the fire jet. No, Sora just kind of walked in the wrong spot. Caden and Keegs just get eaten alive. Jelly trades his life. He still has that support mentality. Hey, look, the auras are coming on now. He has the heart.
It's making a difference.
And it's making a huge difference. They're able to dance in these late game team fights, which, like I said, this is the early game. And the early game and the late mid game were going to be where this composition really does very well. And then the late game, provided that they have the auras somewhere, whether it's on Jelly or not, the late game is going to bode well for Obey's composition as well. And you notice the late game wasn't going in their favor until they bought the auras.
And you also see what Zaxi's building? He's got a bulwark.
Oh, yeah.
That's how much, that's how scared he is right now of not only Delta Marine, but Mancer. Because, again, Mancer, he's not top of the player damage chart. I mean, Delta Marine is, yet again.
He's a Vulcan.
He's a Vulcan, and he's chunking away. But Mancer especially, all 22, 23k damage almost, is literally just single targeting out the carries.
Big ring one more time. This time Zaxi stuck in it. Aegis is out the damage from the Vulcan. Gets stomped on by the Bellona, however. And now the follow-up damage is not good enough. Mifflin still chasing, but Caden gonna provide the support for his Hunter, understanding that Zaxi is the key to victory.
And right now they're trying to lock down Mifflin, but he's just got too much CDR, able to jump away safely into the rest of his team.
40% CDR. Just a fantastic time for an Odin with full CDR. Just ringing and jumping. Doesn't rhyme, but just stick with it.
Just stick with it.
Just stick with it. Ringing and dinging. Okay, let's pretend I didn't do that. 41 minutes on the clock, and Obey are just clocking the Fire Giant right now. Big damage, 80% so far. Medieval gets his Magi's knocked off. That's a big deal. He's going to be able to be controlled by Obey should they find him. And there's damage on a Dwarf. That's not a big deal. He's pretty tanky. Mifflin catches two. That's a huge deal. Mancer takes out Caden. The special delivery proving to be the downfall of the Mercury. Kingsmate falls down as well. Obey Alliance going to slink back into the jungle and look for the big boss.
No.
The big
Fire
boss.
Giant. Except for Dwarves, who's going after Medieval for the perfect zoning technique, and Mifflin and the Worst are actually, they're trying to lock him down.
You don't need to do this.
They can, though. I think that Mifflin's ultimate is going to be available pretty soon, and if he wants to just trap them, he's waiting for the rest of his team. They don't want to let him back, because if their team gets there in time, they're pushing down that right T2. Medieval's going to be able to get out, though, so he'll be able to heal up, which is fortunate for him, but Fire Creeps are shoving into Sora's base. They didn't get a chance to push out those waves because of the fact that Caden and Keegs got picked.
Yeah, right side Phoenix goes down. Mid and left are still down from the last engagement. Obey Alliance are going right for it. The Vulcan ultimate brings it down to 60. Everybody else brings it down to 20. And the combination of the abilities brings it down to zip. 20 to 21 in a war of attrition. This one goes the way of Obey Alliance, securing them the 2-0.
And that right there, I think that is just pure experience for the side of Obey. Being able to weather out the storm, like literally they just hung on to that one for as long as possible, because that should not have, I don't think that they should have probably won that game. I think that it was just Sora making tiny little mistakes and Obey being experienced enough to capitalize off of them.
Yeah, it's just a classic example of when you're playing at this high level. Sora played a fantastic game, and they made maybe, I mean, I'm doing quick work here, but maybe 3 mistakes in total. That I
think both games. Sora played really well in both games. It was just so unfortunate they were unable to close out in both of those matches. So it will be Obey picking up the clean 2-0 against Sora Gaming.
Shoutouts to the new strategy. I enjoyed it. The entire day was rather fun, though. Strictly Business winds up splitting right down the middle with Team Elevate. Starboys get the perhaps surprise win here with the split against Astral Authority. Don't forget, Astral Astral Authority, your spring split champions. But Starboys definitely on the quick up and up. By the way, Cameron is looking for a logo. If you can make logos, hit up Cameron and maybe you can make Starboys more than just a word. Obey Alliance pick up the 2-0 above Soar Gaming, which, as Taco mentioned, so damn close.
That was probably one of the best sets that I've seen as far as Xbox is concerned, because it wasn't Soar just like messing up, or like, you know, the Obey messing up consistently, and it's just like throws back and forth. Like, both those teams play that set excellently.
Yeah, really nice, smooth stuff. Really nice, smooth stuff for Obey Alliance, who are sitting up top. 2 matches and 2 wins net them 6 points in total. And the team that took the spring split by storm, well, they're sitting down at the number 4 mark. Astral Authority, that is, 2 matches with only 2 splits, giving them 2 points. Starboys, the new kids on the block, wind up on the bottom with 2 matches, a split, and a loss, giving them a 1 point. And we'll see how that one winds up going as the weeks continue. It's just week number 2 of the SCL, and I think you're right with that Obey game. That might have been the highlight for me.
That was a good way to end today, I would say. And I think that all around these teams are clearly improving. You can tell by how it's such an even split, 2-2-2.
Yeah, fun stuff coming out here with the SCL. Thank you for spending your Memorial Day with us. We'll see you on Thursday for the PC action. Peace, and much love to you.
I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air. That's how I roll. I got changes, bro.